Hey everybody, Klesso here, round 2, Grand Arena 3v3. Here's a look at my defenses. Up top, in the front. Now down at the bottom, in front. This is my hardest section. I kind of want to force them up top. Here is the top back, pretty easy. And the bottom back. If you watch the first video, I said that this next round was going to be hard, and boy was I right. Here's his defense, up top front, and the bottom front section. He's got a Zeta on Gar Saxon. I don't know what that does. This first wave here, we're going to go against his Bastilla team. And this is a go-to for me. I always just use this team against Bastillas, because you can just literally put it on auto and Nest will take off, keep retaliating, and eventually just start one-shotting people. This was actually a huge mistake, as easy as this is, because what I should have done is use this team against his Revan. They nerfed Nest a little while back, but I've got a super high tenacity Nest, and without his Revan team taking advantage of having a Bastilla on it to add all that potency, I think I could have done the same exact thing to that Revan team like you could pre-nerf, and it would have been just fine. You'll see later in this video that Revan team just gets the best of me. I think it's doing that to a lot of people. So, as you can see here, things are starting to, it's just, here we go. Nest is being Nest. So, Ezra's down. Ayla Sakura will be going pretty soon too. It's pretty much over at this point. Feeling pretty good about myself right now, but feeling good about myself doesn't last too long. This guy's defense is top notch. I knew going into it with how many great mods he had, more Gear 12 tunes than I had, and especially just a bunch of stuff I just never went against. Now here's a mirror match that I felt confident from the beginning, but then just everything went his way, and this one match really set me on a course that I couldn't recover from, because I had to end up using some teams that I didn't want to have to use on this to end up finishing it, which meant it screwed up everything I could have done for every other team he had. I had to start using teams that I just didn't want to use. I waste too much on his Traya and his Revan. In hindsight, as you'll see later in the video, I should have just abandoned Revan after I got my butt kicked the first try. Just never went back, even though I did get really close. But this is painful to watch. I just cannot get ahead with my Nihilus to where I can get a good drain force, get an annihilate when I need it. Just every single time, right there, ability block on my Nihilus. I'm screwed. Every single time I'm getting ready to go, his Traya goes right before, puts ability block on my Nihilus, and it's so painful. You know, it's really funny how smart the AI is sometimes, because it sure as heck isn't in a lot of scenarios. But man, when you need things to go your way, this is not the game for that. And just having that isolate on my Nihilus makes that pain stick. So when I do get Annihilate up, I can't even annihilate their Nihilus. I have to go after their Scion. I just can't get ahead. Another ability block every single time. Finally. Okay, here we go. Obviously, I would have loved to get rid of their Nihilus, but I couldn't because my Nihilus is isolated, because their AI knows to isolate my Nihilus every single time and hit him right before he goes and put ability block on him. I guess, you know, it was a good thing I got rid of their Scion, but it was just, boy, this could have went, you know, such a different route. Like I said, this was a very painful one to watch, just long and drawn out, and nothing went my way at all. So, here's where the downside starts. And I'm like, well, let's attack their Revan. I've seen this online, I've seen this work. Let's get a stun on Yoda, looking good. So far, you know, not too shabby. Now right here, if that would have killed him, it might have made a world of difference, but it didn't. So that didn't get rid of their savior on the first try. Right then, that could have been him dying for the second time, and things could have went wildly different. It's just, boy, it didn't happen. And then when it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I mean, that's what Yoda does, and it's over. And I really wish I could have tried my Kira Nest Hermit Yoda team first on that, and then used Night Sisters on their Bastilla team instead. That would have been so good. And right here, this is such a good offensive team, and I was too scared to go in with anything less than stellar and not take out this Traya Nihilus. But man, I would have loved to use this team against any other one of their teams other than Revan, because this would have taken it out. This was a good offensive team, and just wasn't in the cards. It's funny how a couple little things don't go your way, and all of a sudden you got to start doing stuff you're not too happy about, and not using squads that you wish you could. I jump around a lot in this. I opened up that back section, so now I'm filling out this Gar Saxon. Never went against a Gar Saxon. I have no idea what it does. I do know TFP, TIE Fighter Pilot, is really squishy, so I'd like to get him knocked out sooner than later. This Night Sister team isn't the best Night Sister team by any means, but I was hoping it could, you know, get the job done. Maybe I'd get lucky and they'd target someone and I could revive and get some stuns, and did okay. It's just, you know, doesn't go your way, it doesn't go your way. Keep getting close. Yeah, the wheels fall off here. But I got one down, and name of this round 2 of Grand Arena 3 versus 3 is just grind, because his defenses and mods are just so good. Now I'm going to go in with this this team and try to finish it off. This is actually a pretty good little team if you got to finish something. Highly recommend it. It's not one of my top offensive lineups, but if you're playing 3-on-2, I like this a lot. The bonus speed from the Akbar lead, Leia hits hard, R2 stuns, burns. Every time you use attack that's not an actual attack, you get a bonus hit. But again, so many of these teams I had to go back a second time. Now this one's pretty easy. I love Zeta Finn. Right there, man, all three got exposed. That's a good start. You know, something in this round actually went my way. So try to get a stun on Bossk. Boom, stun on Bossk. Now I do have a lot of potency on these guys, and that's super important. You want as much speed as possible on Finn, or not Finn, Poe. You want him to go first and get those opening exposes. I knew going into it that their Zam was a little bit faster, that she would go first, but I wasn't too worried about it because that just means she's going to lay down some thermal detonators, and hopefully after that they wouldn't take another turn, and really they don't too much. So pretty easy going on this one. But again, this isn't necessarily where I wanted to use them. It's where I got forced to use them. I like to save this team for first order, which I think he probably had behind that Revan in the top back, but I will never know what's back there. I will never know. Here's another great team that anyone else, this team probably beats. But here I tried getting against Revan, and it's just, I should have abandoned Revan. I should not have. I wasted too many good teams on this Revan, hoping, you know, just to get a kill so I could grind away. And it just never happens. I just waste good team after good team, and it really bites me in the butt in the end. But I learned a lot this round. I mean, holy cow, did I learn a lot. I'm actually really excited for the third round because I feel like I got a lot done. Now here I go in with C-3PO and Jedi Rey, which, man, I get so close. I made some bad moves. I might have been able to actually beat this team if I was smarter about it, because, man, it does go pretty darn well. I get Revan darn near dead, and man, I didn't capitalize on it. There's 2 or 3 times I could have actually just killed him, and I tried getting cute and going to Yoda or going to Jolee, because I wanted to get that confused on them. And I should have known better, because they got tenacity up, so it wasn't going to happen anyway. But look, I could have killed him right there. Didn't happen. Could have taken him out. If I would have just done BB-8's basic hit on him right there, it would have killed him, and he couldn't have revived, because one, his savior was already gone, but he's also got the health immunity thing on him. So even if his savior wasn't gone, he wouldn't have been able to come back, because it would have never got down to that 1% or whatever it is for savior to kick in. Boy, that's another one where I want another crack at it so bad. Well, this is interesting. This is a Krennic team, and I've never won against it. I didn't know what to use. I usually save Imperial Troopers for Night Sisters, but they're not on the board. Again, they could be behind in that top back section that I never see. But at this point, I got to start just using my pretty good counter teams. And I have no idea whether this is going to work. I have no idea, because I've never faced a Krennic with Zeta on both him and Death Trooper. I just know I want to get rid of Stormtrooper, try to get that first kill with Imperial Troopers, and then the turn meter train starts going. Now I also know I don't want to kill Krennic first, because I believe with that Zeta on Death Trooper, if you kill Krennic, he just keeps coming back, because he just keeps coming back. Yeah, and this ends up going pretty darn well. For not knowing what I was getting into, I'll take it. I will take it. Let's see. Here's a team I normally set on defense, but I tried to set a stronger defense. This is another one. He's got so many teams. I don't know what Aurra Sing does, let alone one with a Zeta. I read up on her kit. I know she stealths. I know she helps other bounty hunter allies that stealth. And then this was smart. She puts Stormtrooper Han in there, so then he's going to taunt, and every time you hit him, it gives them bonus turn meter. I know Aurra Sing hits really hard, so I just wish I could have got her out, but there's another one that just trips me up, you know. But this isn't the team I wanted to use on this, you know. If I would have abandoned Revan when I did, I had 2 or 3 teams that would have easily taken this out first try. And he's got 2 teams on here that I wasted so many mediocre teams on, because that's what I had to use, because I tried to do too much against Revan, and really cost me in the end. You'll see the final score here after bit, and boy, if I could have I could have one-shotted that team had I used, you know, a couple of my other teams that I had that I wasted on Revan. I'm sure Night Sisters would have been fine, especially my JTR, C-3PO, BB-8 team. That team's gonna one-shot pretty much everybody other than Revan. I mean, it almost got Revan. If I was smarter about it, it would have been a lot more interesting. I'm just grasping at straws here, trying to put stuff together, find a leader. You know, maybe I can kill Stormtrooper Han, and then whittle away, just try to clear the section. Oh, I got Stormtrooper Han down, that's good. Now working on Aurra Sing. But look, I mean, she just hits like a brick truck, man, like a brick wall. Then, you know, here I am grasping at straws again. Let's try First Order. Let's see how that does. You know, who knows? And what's crazy is, it does really good. Phasma's the only worth a darn lead I have for First Order. I really got to work on my First Order. It's a really good defensive team that you can count on to put on defense, and people can't take it light. But this team did pretty darn well. It would have been nice to use earlier. I doubt it would have went this well, though. Helps playing 3-on-2. Alright. Now, here we go. Back to Revan. And it's just, I'm just trying stuff. You know, he's got less than 50% health, but as you can see, instantly he's back to over 50% health, so I don't even get a chance to be cute. try to kill him. And right here, I should have abandoned. I had, I really should have abandoned right here and tried another lineup. One thing that I noticed, and I don't know whether this is a bug or not, or if this is just how it works for Grand Arena, but earlier my C-3PO didn't get killed. Once he was the last man standing, he just goes away like Hermit Yoda, and I should have been able to use him again, but he's not available for me to use. So I don't know whether that is a mechanic of Grand Arena and maybe Territory War, but I wouldn't think so. I mean, if he leaves a battle, he leaves a battle. He never died. I would have liked to been able to use him again, if not against Revan again, against someone else. This was frustrating, man. IG-88 just evades everything. He's so squishy. I was trying to get him out of there real quick, but this team is crazy. His T3M4 has double Zetas, and his 88 has a Zeta, which you just don't see too often. But the 88 I understand, because this guy is big into ships. He's got the meta ship team right now. When I saw that, I was so happy that ships wasn't a part of this 3v3, because I can't beat that team. That Mace capital ship with Xanadu Blood and Houndstooth and Fives, and you got Jedi Knight Anakin coming in. That's just, I'm working towards building that team for ships, but I'm a ways away. But when your opponent has this good of a lineup and he cares that much about ships, you got a tough fight on your hands. This team surprisingly did pretty darn good for as horrible as Grievous is. Hey, you got rid of 88. I'll take it. And then Imperial Probe Droid will just blow himself up. That's one less I gotta kill, so I'll take that too. But this is another one where, it took me 4 times to beat it. And there's a couple teams that would have easily taken it out on the first try had I not wasted it on Revan. That's the big takeaway from this whole round is, boy, if you don't get Revan that first try, probably just, chalk it up to that's that, and take all the points you can get everywhere else. So I'd love to have that JTR C-3PO team, the Mother Talzin lead team. Man, those teams would have been so good against this one, and that Aura Singh team, which I just struggled against. Easily would have got me another 40 to 60 points had I just one-shotted both of those teams with those 2 teams. Here I am being cute. Hey, did you ever want to know what Imperial troopers with no lead do against Revan? Here's a clue. Nothing. That's horrible, just as I knew it would be. But they weren't going to do anything to anyone else either, so I'm not losing out too much. Anyway, you can see I lost by 35 points. He struggled exactly the same way I did against Revan. Took him a couple tries to beat my bounty hunters. In the back, he beat both of them on the first attempt, which I knew he would. That was easy. I wanted him to use up teams before he got down to Revan. And if you look at this section, he struggled against my triple tank team with Vandor Chewbacca, and then he had 3 battles against my Palpatine team. And I just ended up losing by 35 points. And I could have won. I could have pulled this out had I not wasted so much on Revan. And I took out that Aura Singh team and that T3M4 IG-88 team on the first try. I would have won this. But hey, that's what round 3 is for, hopefully. So thanks for watching.